Over the last few weeks, we have heard quite a few conflicting reports about the upcoming Galaxy Z Fold 7. Would it be basically identical to the Z Fold 6, like some South Korean publications with dubious track records have reported? Or will it be almost a knockoff of the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition that we saw launched last year with a larger set of screens, a larger cover display, larger inner display, 200 megapixel camera, etc., etc. Today we have a little bit more information on this to talk about because we have a post from an insider who you probably mostly know by now, Ross Young, on Twitter, VP at Counterpoint Research, founder of Display Search and Display Supply Chain Consultants. This is someone who has their finger on the pulse of the display world, and through that, they often do leak some valuable information, and they did exactly that today. Actually, 4 hours ago, you can see, revealed Samsung Trifold. I'm going to take to calling it multifold from now on, one, because that's what Samsung is broadly referring to it as, and it will get me out of the argument of whether or not it should be called trifold or bifold, multifold, and the Fold 7 cover display sizes to their X subscribers. Now, if you wanted to get this information sooner and direct from the source, you're going to go here and you're going to subscribe and basically give Ross a little bit of money every month. Instead, you could just wait for me to tell you here on my website, which is what we're going to talk about. Don't worry, it's not just me. Sam Mobile already let the cat out of the bag on this one as well, so I think I'm well within my rights to do the same. So what's being reported here? The multifold device is apparently going to have a 10-inch inner display, which we have heard before, but it's going to have a 6.49-inch cover display. That number is actually more interesting than it may seem, and we're going to talk about exactly why here in just a minute. But first, for those who maybe aren't super familiar with these rumors, I'll pull up this image from a patent that I uncovered about a month ago that I'm just now actually seeing some other channels report on. Get the scoop here, I guess is what I should say. This is sort of what this thing is rumored to look like, in that both of these sides actually fold inward on top of one another, protecting that fragile inner screen. In fact, I've actually got a video here from Samsung Display showing off prototypes of that exact same kind of device, where one screen folds in, or one side folds in, and the other side folds in on top of that. And you can see this sort of shape here, and I guess you can kind of understand why they call it a G flex. It almost looks like the letter G if you squint and maybe you don't know exactly what the letter G looks like. And that's the rumor for what this kind of device, this multi-fold, is going to look like. But like I said, 6.4-inch diagonal cover display. Let's put a pin in that. The Galaxy Z Fold 7, he's reporting, is also going to have a 6.49-inch cover display. Now, this is bigger than the 6.3-inch cover display on the Z Fold 6, and that's not a huge difference, but what is significant here is that it is the same size cover display as the Z Fold Special Edition, and this takes us back to a post that Ross actually made a couple of months back, saying that what he was hearing is that the Z Fold 7 would basically be the Z Fold 6 Special Edition. So number 6 even in that name, the Special Edition, you know what I mean. So that device had a cover display that was 6.49 inches or 6.5 inches, depending on where you see it listed. It's the same thing. And it was as wide as a normal phone. Okay, so the Fold 6 got a little bit wider, but it was still more narrow than a normal phone. This was a normal phone's width, and the inner screen was 8 inches diagonal. So the same size as the Pixel 9 Pro Fold's inner display. So if I am taking this the way that I think I should be taking this, this is another piece of evidence that that is exactly what we're going to be getting with the Fold 7. We should be getting the Z Fold Special Edition, now launching as the Z Fold 7. Future editor Shane has to step in here to add just a little bit more. So one of the things I've heard from a lot of people is, why would we accept basically a phone from last year as this year's phone with a new processor? Well, there's reason to believe maybe, just maybe, it'll be even better than that. I've actually went back and added an additional little bit to this article, and we're going to quickly cover it this morning. There is another tech leaker who is a little bit, relatively well-known. Crow, they've had some stuff in the past, and they stated this: the Fold 7 is the slimmest fold ever. Of course, that would indicate that it is slimmer than the special edition. That's a good thing. Bad thing, thanks to the S Pen downgrade. And that kind of takes me back to this article from December the 20th, where he talked about just that being a possibility. It was via ET News, which, if I'm not mistaken, is a South Korean publication, but basically they were exploring removing the S Pen digitizer to get this device to be a bit thinner. Now, this is going to be something familiar to those of you that know about the special edition, because it does not have an S Pen digitizer, but of course this would be a way of still having the S Pen be functional without that digitizer, and that could be exactly the downgrade that Crow is referring to here. And if that does get us an even slimmer Z Fold 7, I think that maybe, just maybe, that would be worth it, so long as you can still write and do all of those normal things. The S Pen for the Z Fold, the basic one, they used to sell a Pro model. I don't remember if they still sell that or not. It's already lacking the Bluetooth features that we lost on the S25 Ultra, so in theory, this wouldn't be that big of a deal. Now keep in mind that the special edition was already 4.9 inches when opened, and that's pretty darn thin. That doesn't put us quite in the range of the Oppo Find N or the Honor Magic V3, which is, closer to 4.2 millimeters, but we're creeping into that territory, and I think that would be an important thing for them to do, just to signal that they are indeed keeping up. We're going to jump straight back into another report that I had from the 5th, where we have had a couple of different tech leakers. Anthony here is typically more of an aggregator. That's not a disparaging comment. That's what I do a lot of the time. They're saying Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition, but globally, that's what it's going to be. And along with that, they're saying bigger displays, but also that 200 megapixel camera the Special Edition had. That's the sensor from the Ultra phones. That would be a big upgrade. Bigger vapor chamber, faster chip, and better speakers. We also had this from Panda Flash Pro, who, if I'm not mistaken, tends to be more of an actual source for the leak than an aggregator. I may be wrong about that, but just roll with me for a second. Vapor chamber cooling size has been increased for the Flip 7 and Fold 7, so it should run a little bit cooler and maybe run faster. Because of that, display crease is almost gone. That's a good thing as well. New, smoother, and more durable hinge mechanism. This is a cool one too. Pill-shaped speakers, exactly the same as the Z Fold 6, but the speakers themselves are upgraded. If we look at this image down here of the Fold 6 next to the Fold Special Edition, you can see those pill-shaped speakers are exactly the same. It really does sound like they're just taking the Special Edition and calling it the Fold 7, putting the newer Snapdragon 8 Elite processor in it, and calling it a day. And honestly, I am absolutely fine with that. My time spent with the S25 Ultra has been so incredibly encouraging. I've enjoyed it so much that my excitement for this device is growing actually quite rapidly. If we have, the things I love about One UI 7, little touches that I really enjoy. How about a shout out for big folders? Man, am I a sucker for big folders. Give me that on the Z Fold 7. Give me the new animations, the new, increased smoothness. The 25 Ultra is just such a smooth, performant device. I like the appearance of One UI 7 for the most part. I think that it looks very, very good. And then if you really want to absolutely just crush this thing and knock it out of the park, give me that anti-reflective coating on the cover display and my mind will be blown. I will pre-order that thing the moment that it is available. It might be one of my favorite foldables of all time. Literally, just take the 25 Ultra experience, make that basically the cover display, and then let me open it up. What's not to like? Granted, it would be a smaller version of the 25 Ultra on the cover display, which is good. That's good, right? And then you open it up for the big screen. Again, I'm just hyping myself up. You guys might think I'm crazy, and you might think that this is just still not on the level of some of the Chinese foldables, and in some ways, you would be absolutely right. But I like Samsung's phones, so for me, this is ticking a lot of boxes. Like I said in a previous video, this is the device where we find out if Samsung's statement that they were going to find their old fire, they were going to innovate once again, they understood that they were in some form of crisis, their word, not mine, and that they would turn that ship around. This is the device where we find out if that is true or if that was just lip service. We can't say it was the 25 series because those devices were basically already done at this point. I think we can reasonably say the Fold7 was far enough out that they should have been able to do something with this device. So again, I do have some high hopes for this phone. I want to hear what you think in the comments down below. How is all of this sounding to you? Let me know. Subscribe for more content just like this. Do go check out the link in the description to Ross Young's Twitter account and potentially even consider becoming a subscriber and getting his news a little bit early because he does do some really, really good stuff over there on Twitter. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.